Good morning. My name is Syed. I'm the VP of Corporate Services and the CIO at London Hydro, Ontario, Canada, and I'm the chair of Green Button Alliance. Really, the objective of my talk lines up with the workshop, which is really to talk about DERs and how they help with lowering the carbon footprint and how the next generation smart grid will also have a play. I'm going to go through Green Button overview, give me a highlight how Green Button will play a role in this meeting the objective, and talk about a couple of London Hydro pilots. One we're doing with Sidewalk Labs, and another one with a Power Forward challenge that's been sponsored by National Research Canada here, and also some closing remarks. Green Button overview, just so you're aware, it's something that has two components: download my data and connect my data, which are two things that we at Green Button Alliance certify, that really provides third-party access in a secure way for others to develop and use any type of time series data. At Green Button Alliance, we sort of have a strategic direction that we're moving towards, which is really the purpose is to promote energy value creation, and this is a lot of it is around smart meter data, and also would include DERs and even IoT devices in the future. And our goal is really to facilitate the energy ecosystem, and that means everywhere from DER solar installers to have data to the point where we have app developers, to utilities, to government agencies, and who require data at its individual or aggregated level. The goal being really to provide affordable energy. And this is really targeted to make sure that try and even the playing field between people who are in need and others who can afford technology to manage things and their consumption, but really focus on affordable energy for the ones in need. It's also around economic development, which is, given COVID, small business has really been affected. So we need to give some tools and services to our small business to sort of recover from the COVID, and also to be able to help all of us reduce our carbon footprint. And that would mean also small business to residential customers to try and know exactly where your footprint and what you're doing and how we can promote more renewables as well. Next really talks about what the green value prop is. On the left-hand side, it's really about customer choice. So it's no longer just the utility who has the data and they served up to the customer through their portals, which you can see on the right-hand side. It's also third-party offerings that are offered through an app store. And at the end of the day, it's the customer who owns the data, and they have to provide easy and secure access to information through customer consent. It's a way to provide data on not just electricity, natural gas, and water usage, and so forth. And we're including even what the solar and DER generation would be, and making sure the data is very secure and transmitted safely. Goal is really to move away from just reporting on consumption, reporting what's going on, to really give an access of control. With that, as you can see on the bottom right, it's really the speed of data is improving. It used to be monthly data that we used to get on utilities is moved to hourly. It's now got not just down to 1 minute, 5 minutes. We're talking about stuff that needs to be down at sub-minute levels even. And coming together on the right-hand side on the platform that really spans utilities, borders, and across the globe businesses that have that requirement. And you can see it's really about an industry-wide standard that we're promoting. About 40 members right now on Green Button Alliance. We made up a number of utilities, affiliate organization, governments, and also service providers, technology providers. There's also recently in South Korea, they've translated the Green Button standard as well, and looking at adoption there. And in the States in particular, there's a fair number of dark green areas that have already had the mandate. And in the light green, you can see there's some additional discussions. And New Hampshire and New York are a couple of good examples to see what are being promoted to provide third-party access. In California, obviously, who's been leading the way in a lot of these areas earlier, have really come to the point they want to make it a one-click or access to things. So you really streamlining the onboarding process that's required for taking on access to third-party data. Next slide, we are also partnering with the Department of Data Guard Energy Data Privacy Program, which is a volunteer program to help give a assurance that things are secured. This is very important, especially for our customers, that know when access is given to a third party, that if they're registered through this program, it means that there's one sort of a voluntary code of conduct that's followed for how data will be handled. Additional resources are available at greenbutton.org.about, and there are some webinars if you're interested in further about the Green Button Alliance. Moving on, really want to talk about our a couple of projects. Well, first one being with Sidewalk Labs. Sidewalk Labs we've started a demonstration project for promote affordable and sustainable electrification. We're test driving technology to reduce carbon footprint that can be deployed across North America and beyond, and enabling new renewable energy. And there's a press release link at the bottom there. If you're interested, you can contact me, or you can find it out there. And on the right hand side, we've installed some things that we're going to provide community solar, as we say, to people who necessarily don't have access to their own solar, but would be an aspect of buying shares in a community. 4 components to the overall program. It starts with the top right, with the rate engine that's based on a dynamic price, factors in DER generation, a price signal for a home schedule. And this is really more or less a net zero type of community that's the microgrid that we're looking at as well, that could be taken advantage of, and the price point that is enabled for the home scheduler on the left hand side. And the home scheduler itself is really going to be a autonomous managing system that you pick an energy mode you want. You want to be a saver or balanced or comfort mode, and it more or less puts you into autopilot to let you manage what's going on. And you can buy virtual solar and capacity, which is on the bottom right, as we're going to be doing some transactions based on a price that's set on how much solar has happened, and you can earn green energy credits and optimize the capacity model. On the bottom left is really, right now, is a virtual e-bill generator that really predicts the bill and does some disaggregation on IoT devices to give you an access of what you're really consuming. Those all combined together, we're doing with what we call about 100 homes that are demonstrating the affordable electrification. The next pilot is the Power Forward Challenge. It is we call it London, Ontario to London, UK, L2L, and we're one of 7 finalists in that are working to win the grand prize. For us, really, it's trying to address the real problems that DERs have. Basically, a closed ecosystem. Again, as we mentioned, data is not shared. Visibility is we don't know, especially when we do net metering. We don't really know what's actually happening on how much solar is being actually generated on the side. We don't do integration for becoming a distributed system operator, looking at how we can manage a certain region and can do some demand response on an ongoing basis. And we're not using things for multi-purposes, solar and battery. And there's low adoption, as we can see, without government programs. So we wanted to look at there's a need for open, scalable systems and a new operating model to promote more DERs. The team is made up of ourselves, London Hydro, Electron UK, and NMAX in Alberta is part of that. And we've got Navigant and Gridwire now, and Gowling and Western are playing a role. And we had some support from some asset owners and the ISO on our side as well. What we're going to do is be the first open data DER platform. It's going to provide views for the utility, for third parties, and for the customer, and they participate in that and able to sign up. It'll be providing visibility to our assets and also Annex6's assets, and 100 customers are going to be part of this demonstration site as well. And we've installed 10 new solar battery combinations for particularly at a social housing complex and also at a school. And we're going to provide some use cases on visibility and customer-centric demand response and peer-to-peer trading. Again, 4 quadrants on what we're promoting. On the top right is open data platform, and it leads into on the top left is energy trading platform, as we talked about in the mobile app, and bottom right is looking at new revenue stream and having sustained customer engagement and looking at unlocking the value of DERs. The L2L benefits are VR visibility, as I mentioned, benchmark your assets, see how you're doing, how you're performing with your neighborhood assets, grid services to optimize EVs and what's going on, and open data platform, peer-to-peer energy trading, and what is available for you to increase your green energy and get credit. There's a video that you may want to check out that's on the YouTube on handling the thing. In closing, a few things. I think it's really important to have open standards and really enable energy data value creation and make, as I mentioned, those 3 areas of affordable energy, economic, carbon footprint. It's funny that, I have an electric vehicle, but I can't even get the kilometers driven or the health of the battery. At the end of the day, we should have that data to who owns the vehicle and owns the data. Number of examples of thermostat providers now in the home are used to be able to give you access to what's going on temperature wise, or even to be able to set the temperature. Now they're closing up. We need to really stop that, and even solar providers and inverter data. You can go on and on and on what is being created in the home as the smart home becomes truly an enterprise. We are now creating more data silos as we move forward. Second point is really need new business model for community and solar and battery. Enable shares for people to buy things across different areas in London jurisdiction. Don't need to be even adjacent or in a location. Especially in my house, I wanted to get a solar, but I couldn't because it was a feeder constraint. Now, why can't I get something for another area? And maybe that person could put twice as much solar in, I can buy shares of that. So it's really trying to look at what the demand of a community is versus an individual, and where individuals may be able to participate in this new market, a new business model to promote more DERs. Lastly, I really want to call the touchless energy management, interoperability, and letting the home do the intelligence, especially all these home assistants and everything else that's happening in the home. And as I mentioned earlier about IoT devices need to be there. And the real goal, I'd like to leave the key messages, is that how do we move from reporting on energy to control, proactive control? And that applies to DERs and what's going on, to know how we're doing and controlling and really growing reducing our carbon footprint and promoting more renewable energy. Thank you very much. I'm hoping that this valuable, and if you do have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much.